participating, and special thanks to our special guest, His Grace Satchitananda Das Prabhu, and he's from Iskcon Niagara. I sent his brief biography, but yet I'm gonna speak few words. It's not enough word to glorify his capacity and the way Prabhu speaks very nicely from Shastra. So he is the disciple of Nityalila Pravishta, His Grace Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, and he has been serving ISKCON last 30 years. He has many expertise, which includes Bhajan Kirtan, Gauriya Bhajan, lecture, seminar, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and different Vaishnaviya teachings. He gives seminars and different classes, and he tours all over the globe, pretty much many centers in USA, Canada, Australia, Russia, Sweden, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, etc. Personally, he has been serving Bhakti Vedanta Bhagavad Group and Bhagavad Bani. And as I said, he is always serving his divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, staying in ISKCON. And instead of I'm talking much, let's welcome our special guest, His Grace Satchidananda Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada ki joy. You are on, Prabhuji, please.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you, Achiranidhi Prabhu, for the kind words. Hopefully someday I will be able to actually live up to all the glorification that you have bestowed upon me. Very kind of you. May the words that emanate from my mouth be pleasing to all the Vaishnavas present, to His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada and all our Gaudiya Acharyas. So without further ado, I would like to go into the part 2 of the Damodar Lila today. I hope the devotees did relish the first part of the Damodar Lila. And just to quickly, before I go into the Damodar Lila, I would just like to offer some Mangalacharan. And Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesh Tanayas Tadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Brajavadu Varge Nataya Kalpita Srimata Bhagavata Puranayamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Mataidam Nayatra Agraha Paraha Damodarashtakam Nama Stotram Damodararchanam Nityam Damodarakarashitam Pathet Satyavrato Ditam Yasya Kadapi Vasanachala Khelanottha Dhanyati Dhanyapa Vanena Krutharto Mani Yogindra Durgamagatir Madhusudano Yapi Tasya Namastu Vrishabhanu Bhuve Dishe Api Vanchakalpataro Vyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Barhapidam Natavara Vapu कर्णया कर्णिकारं बिभ्रतवाससः कनक कपिशं वैजयन्तीं च मालं रन्धारं वेणोरधर सुधापूरयान् गोपीवृन्दै बृन्दारण्यं स्वपद रमणं प्रविशद् गीत कीर्तिः नवनीरद निंदित कांतिधरम रससागर नागर भूपवरम शुभवंकिमचारु शिखंड शिखिम भज कृष्ण निधिम व्रजराज सुतम राधिका सरोदइंदु निंदिमुख मंडली वंदिये श्रीपाद पद्म वृषभानु नंदिनी जय श्री वृषभानु नंदिनी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So on behalf of Iskcon Calgary and Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad Group, I would like to welcome each one of you in this wonderful, auspicious month of Kartik, known as Damodar Mas, or also known as Urja Mas. Radharani is Urjeshwari, so this is a very, very favorite month of Shri Radha. And whatever spiritual activities we conduct in this particular month is multiplied thousands of times, which is unbelievable. So any spiritual activity, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, etc., that we do, we perform, it indeed pleases Radha Damodar and their most intimate parshads or their associates. So with their blessings, we now continue the Damodar Lila. If you all recollect, last time we had ended in the part where the first verse, Namami Ishwaram Satchitananda Rupam Lasata Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashoda Bhiyu Lukhalad Dhavamanam Paramashtam Atyanta Tato Dhrutya Gopya. So this particular verse, Sanatana Goswami explains that this Astakam composed by Satyavrat Muni is the mention has been between a conversation between Naradji and some rishis in the Padma Puran. So we don't even know when this was composed, but it has drawn a lot of deep interest with a lot of devotion, especially amongst the Gaudiya Vaishnavas in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And rightfully so, as we dive deep into this Damodar Ashtakam, we will get a glimpse of what our Gaudiya Acharyas are relishing. By their own mercy, we will get a glimpse of the pure devotion that is embedded in this Damodar Ashtakam. And in this Damodar Ashtakam, we had actually set the stage by mentioning from Jiva Goswami's Gopal Champu about how Krishna is only 2.5 years old and Mother Yashoda is all alone on the day of Diwali. The previous night she had she had actually put some yogurt with a starter in the milk, started to make yogurt, and everybody was sent to Nanda Maharaj's older brother Upananda's place because the festival of Diwali was going to be celebrated in Gokul. At that time, just as a note, there was no Govardhan Puja. Krishna is only 2.5 years old. When Krishna was 7 years, Govardhan Puja was performed. But prior to that, it was the festival of Diwali, and Upananda was in charge, the older brother of Nanda Maharaj, of all the festivities. And Mother Yashoda had sent all the maid servants, and including Mother Rohini, and many Vrajvasis had gone to help Upanandji for preparing for the Deepavali festival. Mother Yashoda was contemplating that my son, as soon as he started walking, maybe perhaps when he was only a year or a few months old, he and his little cowherd friends used to go ransacking the kitchens of the gopis, stealing butter, breaking the pots, and making a mess. And I never believed them. All the complaints that came to me, I always told them that why would my little son steal butter in your house? Our profession, we as Vaishyas, is cow protection, and we actually have so much milk and milk products in our house. So there's no need for my son to steal in your house. But that time she suddenly was thinking on Diwali day that perhaps it is because I am the queen of Vrindavan, Nandarani, and I have many, many maid servants, and they all make the makhan, the butter, and the yogurt. They churn it and they extract the butter, and they make a lot of different sweet items out of the milk products. But today, nobody's at home. I will personally make the sweetest yogurt, and the next morning on Diwali day, I will churn that butter and with my own hands make this butter for my Lala, for my Krishna. And if he eats my butter, he's going to be very happy. And thus, even if he is going around hither and thither, trying to go to the houses of the gopis and steal butter, he will perhaps stop doing that once he gets the taste of my butter. Mother Yashoda very nicely milks all the cows, in the best of the best cows that are in Nanda Mahal, in the palace of Nanda Maharaj, and start with the starter, puts the sweet milk to turn into yogurt. Next morning, it would be fresh, very sweet yogurt in a huge pot that would be ready. Mother Yashoda wakes up, she's very beautiful. And on this Diwali day, she's dressed up in silken clothes, and she's got wonderful abhushan, wonderful ornaments. And she is so much in Vatsalya Rasa, just looking at her little boy, little darling boy, she cries. She's saying, my dear boy, you sleep well, you grow well. And she is giving ashish, or she's giving blessings, that you are the crown jewel of Nanda Maharaj's dynasty. May you grow well, may you grow healthy, may you grow strong. And like that, she goes into the kitchen and starts churning the fresh sweet yogurt that they had set the day earlier, and it is now ready to churn into butter. While doing that, she is wonderfully churning the butter, and something amazing happens. Her bangles, her ankle bracelets are like the kartals, and the swishing in the milk, or in the yogurt rather, in the pot, and the swishing of the churning rod with the ropes creates an amazing magical sound like that of a sankirtan. Dik ching, dik ching, dik ching, dik ching. Just like when we are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is the topmost sankirtan that Mahaprabhu brought. Ajanu lambita bhujau kanakayo dhato sankirtanai pitaro kamalaya taksho Vishwam bharo dvijavaro yugadharma palo vande jagat priya karo karuna avtaro. Vrindavan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Bhagavat, he starts with this particular verse known as the Mangalacharan verse, where he says both these brothers, Gaur Nitai, or Rajendra Nandan Sachisuta Hoilo Shai Balram Hoilo Nitai, Lord Krishna from Golok Vrindavan and his brother Rohini Nandan, he became Sachishuta Hoilo Sei, Balram Hoilo Nitai, and Balram appeared as Nityananda Prabhu. And what did they do? They had arms that were wonderfully extended to their knees. The physiognomy was amazing. They are very special personalities. The two supreme personalities of Godhead had descended. For what? Ajanu Lambita Bhujo Kanakaya Udhato, their complexion is so golden. Sankirtanai Pitaro Kamalaya Taksho. And what they did is they were the founders. Pitaro. Pitaro means the fathers, the founding fathers of the Sankirtan, of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Sankirtanai Pitaro Kamalaya Taksho, with beautiful petal, lotus petal like eyes. Vishwambharo Dvijavaro. They are the topmost Brahmins, the masters or the leaders of the Brahmins. Dvijavaro, Yuga Dharma Palo. And in this Kali Yuga, they actually spread the Yuga Dharma, which is Sankirtan. Yuga Dharma Palo, Vande Jagat Priya Karo Karuna Avtaro. Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is none other than an incarnation of Vyasdev, says, I offer my obeisances unto both these brothers. Vande Jagat Priya Karo. They are very, very dear to the whole world. Jagat Priya Karo Karuna Avtaro. And they are both the avatars or the incarnations of compassion. So Mahaprabhu himself, he gave this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and in this line, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas came and they performed Sankirtan. But Sankirtan is something that attracts Sri Krishna. The sleeping Sri Krishna on the bedstead, he wakes up, the 2.5-year-old Krishna, his beauty is super excellent. His eyes are like the closed lotus, blue lotus's petals, as described by Jiva Goswami, and his lips are like the red bimba fruit. And he starts crying. His mascara gets hither and thither. It gets scattered because not finding his mother. He cries and cries and cries. And slowly he gets off the bed. He's very, very, very little. And slowly taking help of the bedsheet, he kind of crawls down, putting one foot on the floor firmly and the other one. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who does not know that he is the Supreme Lord in Gokul, in Golok Vrindavan. That is, excuse me, the magic of Maya, the magic of Yoga Maya. Maya means something that makes you forget. Maya, that brings about an illusion. And in this material world, the Mahamaya brings about the illusion that I am this body, rather than we are not these bodies. And Jiver Swarup Hoy Krishnir Nityadas, we are thinking that we are the lords and masters. We never, our realization is very seldom, in a very few realized souls in this material world, that I am an eternal servant of Krishna. Otherwise, we are simply on a bodily concept thinking I am the Lord of everything I survey in this material world. That is the false ego. That is the job of Mahamaya. But there is a Maya in the spiritual world, especially in Golok Vrindavan. She is known as Mahamaya, and she works along with Paurnamasi, and she along with Vrinda Devi, they serve together to enhance Krishna's Leelas by making them forget Krishna and Krishna's devotees, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is just like an ordinary baby. He starts crying and then he zigzags his way across into the dark, into where Mother Yashoda is singing the glories of Krishna while she's churning that butter. While she's churning the butter, she's singing the glories of Krishna. Oh, dear Krishna, you are the crown jewel of Nanda Maharaj's dynasty. May you grow wonderful, nice and stout. And just see what happened when you were only 3 days old. Putna came and she grabbed you and she tried to kill you. By the mercy of Vishnu, you are saved. And then a few days later, the demon in the form of a bullock cart came, the Shaktasur. But you are saved by Nand Maharaj's Parameshwar. This is the beauty of the spiritual world, especially in Golok Vrindavan, where Mother Yashoda thinks that the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is saved by the mercy of Vishnu. This is what we are all, when we are in the school, in the school of theism, in this college of theism, which has got the highest concept and the highest theism in the line of Mahaprabhu, which is never to be found anywhere. There are so many wonderful devotees in Vaikuntha and so many other places in the spiritual world, but none other can we find in the mood that is there in the Vrajvasis or in Golok Vrindavan. Mother Yashoda is churning and singing the glories, and Sankirtan is being performed. Just to remind ourselves again, every entity in the spiritual world is a chitta person, is a live person, is full of consciousness. Satchitananda Rupam. Each and every entity. And whether in this material world, we had last time discussed that the table, the chair, the inanimate objects like the furniture, they cannot move when you talk to them, or they do not react. But in the spiritual world, each and every living entity, whether it is a sofa or a chair, or it is the milk or the milk pot or the churning rod or the rope or the earrings or the different paraphernalia, they are real persons which have a real jiva, inside that are meant for serving Sri Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna and Krishna's associates. Mother Yashoda, not noticing because she is in deep Sankirtan along with the accompaniment of the wonderful musical band by the churning rod and her ankle bracelets and her bangles, they are wonderfully supporting Mother Yashoda in Sankirtan. That is what it means. Sankirtan means congregational chanting. One of the meanings of Sankirtan is, so the congregational chanting is happening right there in Nanda Bhavan in the kitchen, where Mother Yashoda, along with the other entities that are performing and helping Mother Yashoda in the melodious kirtan. When you're lost in kirtan, then you forget everything. She could not hear her baby cry. But baby Krishna comes, Lala comes to her mother, and when mother doesn't notice, he pulls her sari, her garment, and that's when she notices, and Mother Yashoda picks him up, hugs him, kisses him, and sits down in one corner and starts feeding her milk, her chest milk to Krishna, who has got an humongous appetite. It has been described that Mother Yashoda has got unlimited milk, just like the milk ocean or the Sir Sagar, and Krishna has an unlimited appetite. Here, Mother Yashoda, while churning, had already put some milk on the stove, and that milk had started to just about to boil, and Mother Yashoda simply puts down baby Krishna like an ordinary baby and says, Krishna, look at that pot, and I will be right back. I will take care of that milk on the stove. And Mother Yashoda goes to the milk. She sprinkles some cold water on it and starts talking to the milk. Oh, milk, oh, my dear milk, what's wrong with you? What are you trying to do? And milk says, Mother, let me die. Let me die. Mother says, why? And the milk says, my life is useless because I just saw with my own eyes that I don't think I will be able to serve Krishna. He is just feeding from your breast milk. Unlimited milk you have, the supply, and he has got unlimited appetite, and both of you are satisfied with each other. Then what is the use of me? That is what a position of a pure Vaishnava should be. We should always feel that whatever service we are doing is not sufficient enough. That should be our position. And we had given the example of Narottam Das Thakur last time, when Narottam Das Thakur in his bhajan, where he says, but in the bhajan that we sing on the disappearance of our acharyas. By the way, tomorrow is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day, and we are all going to be fasting until noon. And tomorrow we will have a special session in the Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group, which is going to start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and it would be at 5:30 p.m. Mountain time. 5:30 p.m. Mountain time, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, 5:30 p.m. Mountain time, 6:30 p.m. Chicago Central time, and 7:30 p.m. Toronto, New York, New Jersey Eastern time. So all are welcome. Every Sunday in Kartik Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group, we have been singing the Gopi Geet, and we have been doing some katha on the Gopi Geet. But tomorrow there will be a special session. Right after the Gopi Geet, we will be going into a very special session, very deep session of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, highlighting some of the points that perhaps the devotees can take home in their hearts, because every day we are singing the glories of Srila Prabhupada by pronouncing his pranam mantra, Namam Vishnupada Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. How great of a personality is the pranam mantra actually depicts the wonderful transcendental qualities of a personality. And Srila Prabhupada is like Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastra Ruktas Tatha Bhav Yata Eva Sadbi Kinto Prabhoya Priya Vatasya Vande Guroho Sri Charana Ravindam. He has got all the great qualities of Sri Krishna. Although he has got all those qualities, he is so humble in all respects. And we actually sometimes, Prabhupada used to say, familiarity breeds contempt. We sometimes do not realize that Prabhupada is an amazing personality that has descended from Golok Vrindavan. So perhaps tomorrow we will take on a few points. Time is always of the essence, and I've done many by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada himself and Guru Varga. I've done many seminars on His Divine Grace's life, and especially in Vrindavan Dham, I had done a 2-day seminar in Kartik about 3 years ago on the pranam mantra itself, and we were blessed with Srila Prabhupada disciples They had even blessed us and said that we have never heard such an explanation in our lives as Srila Prabhupada disciples. So somehow or the other, Srila Prabhupada has chosen this particular useless servant to glorify him. So please join us tomorrow in Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group. Again, for the Calgary devotees, it will be 5:30 p.m. First half an hour, there will be Gopi Geet, and 6 p.m. we will be starting Hari Katha, glorifying His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, based on what the gopis say, based on what Srimad Bhagavatam says, based on what Chaitanya Charitamrita says. So this is going to be something more or less much more deeper. Hopefully, the servant will be inspired within the heart to speak such wonderful glories of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Anyways, coming back. So as a guru, Mother Yashoda runs to the milk, and she pacifies the milk. What are you doing? Why are you committing suicide, my dear milk? And milk has already explained that there's no use. Pashane kutibo matha anale pashebu gauranga gunera nidhi kotha gele pabo. Narottam Das Thakur, we sing this on the disappearance of our acharyas. Je anila prema dhana karuna prachor kaha gela kaha mora swarup rupa kaha sanatana kaha dasa raghunath patita pavana. Je anila prema dhana karuna prachor. So like this, we sing the glories because but we have to feel that. We sing so many songs every day, and we don't really have that realization. And that is what we should be striving very hard for. Because the songs of Narottam Das Thakur, the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the songs of the Vaishnava Acharyas are the outpouring of their hearts. They teach us how to pray. Just like little children are taught how to say the ABCs and their numbers, we have to simply dharmasya tattva nihitam guyam mahajana jaina kathasa pantaha. We have to follow in the footsteps of the great acharyas. Then we will be able to understand pure bhakti. Otherwise, simply what is going to happen is we are just mechanically doing a lot of things every day. And every day we should be, once we hear the Rasik Katha, once we hear the deep philosophies, then it should touch our hearts, and we should be inspired and motivated to understand the hearts of our acharyas. Actually speaking, we don't even know how to pray. Honestly speaking, the prayers that our acharyas sing through the Vaishnava songs, that in Gitavali, in Sharanagati, in Kalyan Kalpataru, in Prarthana, in Prema Bhakti Chandrika, all these great Vaishnava songbooks and many, many more are actually the heartfelt prayers of the acharyas that when they are communicating with Sri Krishna. And similarly, even this Damodar Ashtakam is a prayer. It's a conversation between Satyavrat Muni and Lord Krishna himself. It's a subtle conversation. It's a suksma conversation. Mother Yashoda is telling the milk, why you want to commit suicide? And milk says, because I cannot serve Krishna. My life is useless. Mother Yashoda says, no, my dear, I will engage you. Like a pure guru is always engaging his disciples or other devotees. That even we see that in Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad's prayer, the Mangal Arati, that Chaturvidasi Bhagavad Prasad Swadana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangam Kritaiva Triptim Bhajata Sadaiva Vande Guru Sri Charnaravinda. The Acharya is always satisfied when all the devotees take enough prasadam and when they are engaged in service. In the previous verse also, Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad says that Shringaratan Mandir Marjanado Yuktascha Bhaktams Chaninjatopi. Vande Guru Sri Charnaravinda. Guru always engages, our senior Vaishnava always engages others in the service of Krishna. So Mother Yashoda tells the milk, I will engage you in Krishna's service. I will engage you because from my breast milk, I cannot make makhan, I cannot make butter, I cannot make the mawa, the khoya, the condensed milk that is used to make all the different sweets in Diwali. I will definitely use you. Be patient, my dear milk. And like that, the conversation comes to a wonderful understanding. The milk is pacified, and Mother Yashoda is so kind. Krishna, seeing all that, when Mother Yashoda puts him on the floor, he becomes extremely angry. He starts crying again, saying that, thinking, who is more important, that milk on the stove or me? Right now, I was feeding, and you stopped me from feeding, and you went after that milk. Of course, that was external. These externalities are produced in Rajdham to enhance the Leelas of Sri Krishna. Yoga Maya does that. And then, angered, he bites his lips and he starts crying. And he wants to teach a lesson to Mother Yashoda. But at the same time, internally, he's very, very happy. Look, my Mother Yashoda is such a wonderful Vaishnavi. She's an amazing Vaishnavi. Look at her interaction with the other Vaishnavas in Gokul. And like that, he is extremely pleased. But here he has to carry on. And Vrinda Devi and Yogamaya and Purnamasi all have a great plan here. So here, the Krishna, like an ordinary child, keeps crying, and then suddenly he becomes very naughty. Seeing that pot that Mother Yashoda had pointed to him, he looks at it, and then he stops crying, and then he sees a little pestle, a little, a little piece of stone that was used to grind chutney, all the different spices on a flat grinding piece of stone. So that stone Krishna takes and he hits that bottom of that huge pot that is perhaps about 2 or 3 times bigger than Krishna, and out pours a huge river of half-formed yogurt, and it makes such a mess in the kitchen. Thereafter, Krishna, looking at all that, he is scared, and he says, the moment my Mother Yashoda will turn around, she will see it. And he tiptoes into the adjoining room, he shuts the door, and little did he know that he leaves behind little white footprints going into the storeroom, where there on the rafters there is a lot of pots that are full of butter and sweet yogurt. Krishna, with his magical Yogamaya, removes the magical power, and again Satchitananda Rupam, the most almighty supreme personality of Godhead, is able to move that heavy grinding mortar, and then once he moves it, he is on top of it, and Yogamaya makes him forget that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Krishna starts taking the butter from the rafters, eats a lot of butter, makes a mess on himself, drops butter on the floor, and it's early morning. The sun has just risen. The crows and the monkeys start coming in through the windows, and he's offering them a lot of butter. And then he's saying, come forward, come forward. Our acharyas say, why Krishna is offering to the crows and to the monkeys the best of the best foods, because in Lord Ramachandra's avatar, the monkeys had nothing to eat practically. They were living off the roots and shrubs and leaves. And he, as gratitude, he promised himself as Lord Ramachandra, when I come and Krishna avatar, I will be the son of the king of Raj, and I will have a lot of opulences, including the best food. The best of all the best foods, and the most expensive of all the expensive food items is ghee and butter. And we all know that from our practical experience. Krishna gives them the best. Krishna is very thankful. Everything that we have, we are made in the image of God. Man, in the Bible says that man is made in the image of God. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamayam Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatan. We are his part and parcel. So all the qualities of Sri Krishna, we have them in us, but in a very minute quantity. That is why we have gratitude. When somebody gives us something, we say thank you. Or when somebody does something for us, we would like to reciprocate. Similarly, Krishna wants to reciprocate. He wants to reciprocate to the crows, because the crow is the most filthiest of all the birds. It only eats garbage. But Krishna says, here I am, the son of the king of Raj, giving you the best of the best gir cows, the surabhi cows, milk that is churned into pure butter. I would like to feed you those, because you are constantly reciting my glories in the form of Ramayan. Sitting at the base of Kailash at Mansarovar, you're speaking the Ramayan continuously. So I am very, very much full of gratitude that my dear devotee Lord Shiva is so pleased when he hears that Ramayan constantly sitting on Kailash, and you are in Mansarovar at the base of Kailash, constantly engaged in my glories. Like that, Krishna feeds the butter to the crows and the monkeys, and slowly there, behold, when Mother Yashoda turns around in the kitchen after talking to the milk, she sees the mess. She's extremely upset. She's so upset that she is angered, she never believed all the gopis when they were complaining, but now she saw it with her own eyes. She sees that with her own eyes, and then she says, this is it. She takes a stick and she tries to look around, and then finally she notices the little white footprints that were dipped in yogurt, and Krishna has proceeded She knows now where she is, behind the closed doors in the storeroom, and she's thinking, what else can I expect now? She proceeds very cautiously and very slowly opens the door, and she opens the door halfway and peeks inside. She peeks inside and she sees Krishna feeding butter to the cow, to the crows and to the monkeys, and making a mess in that entire storeroom, breaking all the pots that were there, everything that she had made, stored to make sweets for Diwali, etc. That was all ruined. She would have been happy if Krishna would have just eaten it and kept it to himself and not broken the pots and not fed the monkeys and the crows and not made a mess. Another room full of mess. When Mother Yashoda is there behind the half open door, the monkeys and the crows, they do not come forward. They see, Krishna sees fear in their eyes. When he sees fear in their eyes, they are not coming forward. As a matter of fact, they are going reverse. And they are moving backwards, and Krishna immediately looks behind. And there, lo and behold, he sees his mother Yashoda with a stick in her hand. And Krishna jumps out that motor, shoots towards the door, the second door that leads into the front yard of Nanda Maharaj's palace. Namami Ishwaram Satchitananda Rupam Lasata Kundalam Gokule Brajvanam Yashoda Bhiyulu Kalat Davamanam Paramashtam Atyanta Tato Dhrutya Gopya. Mother Yashoda, it's morning. She looks left and right. She sees that many people may come out, and being a wonderful person, a lady in the Vedic culture, she always has to wear a veil on her head if she's going out in public. So now she is thinking, the little rascal Krishna who has gone outside, so that he was thinking, my mother will not come after me. If she comes after me, she will have to wear a veil. And if she wears a veil, her vision will be obstructed, so I won't be caught. This is the 2.5-year-old Krishna. Can you believe the way he's thinking? And Mother Yashoda is determined. Mother Yashoda's love has far exceeded the love of Krishna. That is the reason why our acharyas say that then that devotee is able to control Krishna. That is why she was able to immediately put Krishna on the floor. All the Krishna, while breastfeeding, all the Krishna had locked his legs around her waist, and he was sumptuously feeding. And even the Putna, who had the strength of 10,000 elephants, was not able to free herself. This Krishna was immediately put down like an ordinary child, just like a child puts down a little toy. She was able to do that because her love exceeded the love of Krishna. Krishna became Bhakta Vashya. Krishna is Bhakta Vatsal and Krishna is Bhakta Vashya. Bhakta Vatsal means he is the Lord and the Master and the provider. Just like we are children and he gives us our daily bread, our needs, our things that we need. But Bhakta Vashya is an amazing thing that can only happen in the Vraj movie, in the Vraj Bhav, where he will be controlled by his devotee. Here Mother Yashoda is running behind. She is determined. Rupa Goswami says, Utsa, Dhairya, Nischaya. One should have enthusiasm in bhakti. One should have patience, and one should be very determined. Mother Yashoda had all these three displayed. The point of philosophy of bhakti is being displayed by the great Acharyani Mother Yashoda, the Guru, how one can catch Krishna. She did not care whether there's people going to be looking here or there. She just darted out into the front yard trying to catch Krishna, but she was not successful. As soon as Krishna looked behind while he was being chased, at that time he saw his Mother Yashoda was tired. Perspiration was on her forehead. There were beads of perspiration falling off her forehead, and she was so determined. Looking at the determination, he bestowed his mercy and he allowed himself to be caught. Paramastam atyanta tato dhrutya gopya. That running gopi caught him from behind. And then what happened? An amazing thing happened, that Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, started crying. The second verse, Rudantam muhur netra yugmam rujantam karam bhoja yugmena satanka netram muhusasha kampa trire khanka kanta stita graiva damodar bhakti baddam. Here, when he saw the stick in Mother Yashoda's hand and she has held him from behind, he immediately turned around and Mother Yashoda caught his hand, showing the stick, He said, Rudantam Muhur Netra. And he started crying. Muhu means consistently or incessantly, non-stop. Rudantam means crying. Muhu Netra Yugmam Mrijantam. This Krishna, the most chapal, or the most cunning, or the thief of the thieves. There is a Prabhupada, one time, one devotee came and said that, Prabhupada, I'm the most fallen. I'm the most fallen, Prabhupada, I'm the most fallen. And Prabhupada then said simply, don't be fallen. And don't try to take the first place in everything. Krishna is first in everything. Not in the sense that he's fallen, but if you think that we have thieves in this world that are the topmost thieves, but there is no topmost thief than Krishna. There is no cunning person, there is no cheater than Krishna. Prabhupada has said that many times, that he is the biggest cheater. Avraje prasiddham navanita choram gopam gananam dukkula choram. Like that is well known in Raj, that he is the topmost steal. He steals for Gopangana Dukkula Choram. He takes away, he steals the miseries of the gopis, the gopas, the coward boys and the coward girls. He steals the miseries of all the Vrajvasis. And he is also, and that's why Bilva Mangal Thakur, who composed this particular Chor Ashtakam, the glories of the thief, in 8 verses, he always repeats that wonderful line where he says, Chora Agraganyam Purusham Namami. I offer my obeisances unto the topmost thief. Chora Agraganyam. Agraganyam means the first. There's nobody who can beat Krishna in cheating. So this cheater Krishna, he started actually crocodile tears. How? Our acharyas say that he started Rudantam Muhu. When you actually try that, when you very, very deeply, when you start rubbing your eyes, tears will come out. Tears will come out when you start rubbing your eyes. And he tried to do that by feigning crocodile tears. He was feigning crocodile tears. Sri Krishna himself, the biggest cheater, was feigning crocodile tears. And this Krishna is cheating his mother by these crocodile tears, by rubbing his eyes. Rudantam muhu netra yugmam mrijantam. Yugmam means with his two palms, with his 2 hands. Yugmam means 2. Mrijantam means to rub, so that tears will be induced. So that, why he wants to cheat Mother Yashoda? Because he wants to go scot-free. He does not want any punishment. So that he knows that Mother Yashoda is very kind, and if she sees my tears in my eyes, she will let me go. So like that, Yugmam Mrijantam Karamboja Yugmena Satanka Netram. And there is Satank means fear in his eyes. He's showing fear in his eyes. So immediately, Mother Yashoda, seeing that, then because Mother Yashoda, in spite of the tears, the crocodile tears, mind us all, the crocodile tears that Krishna has displayed, Mother Yashoda does not let go of his hand. Mother Yashoda does not let go of his hand and shows the stick closer to his nose. She proceeds further. Krishna, this is it. You have been very naughty. And at that time, Krishna really starts crying. So then we come into the last 2 parts of this second verse, where Rudantam Muhur Netra, Yugmam Rujantam, Karamboja Yugmena, Satanka Netram, and the last 2 lines are Muhu Sasha Kampa Trire Kanka Kantha Stita Graiva Damodar Bhakti Baddham. Now he really starts crying, and he has started breathing very heavily because Mother Yashoda's stick is still in her hand and she is determined to punish him. So then he really starts crying. The crocodile tears have disappeared, and while he's crying, he's shaking. Muhu Sasha, he's taking deep breaths. Maya, Maya. Muhu Sasha, Kampan. Kampan means He is shivering. Musasha Kampang. And then he's looking down. He's a very chubby boy. Krishna is very beautiful. Satyavrat Muni has described his beauty. The beauty is that when he's looking down with his eyes looking a little bit upwards to her mother Yashoda, because of his chubby, beautiful, chubby boy, Krishna, his neck, when he's looking down, forms beautiful three lines, just like we find on a conch shell, right? We see that the conch shell is decorated with three beautiful lines. So somebody who's very chubby, and when they look down, either the chin or the neck, they form lines. So Rutavrat Muni describes that like that Trirekhanka Kantha and Sthita Graiva, the beautiful necklace of pearls on the chest of Damodar, on the chest of Krishna, is also shaking because he's shaking and shivering out of fear of Mother Yashoda. So the necklace is also in fear. So again, we have to remember everything in Golok Vrindavan, in the spiritual world, are chitta. They're full of consciousness. So similarly, looking at Mother Yashoda's stick, even the pearl necklace, because Krishna is shaking, the pearl necklace is also shaking on Krishna's chest. Sthita Graiva Damodar Bhakti Baddham. Now, what is that Bhakti Baddham? Damodar Bhakti Baddham. That's amazing. So Bhakti Baddham means to get tied, but Bhakti Baddham means tied, not only the physical tying of Krishna to the motor, the grinding motor, but one is bound by the love of his devotee. So the first time that was displayed, as we see in this particular Leela, is when, because he's bound by the love of his mother, he who is the most powerful personality, Bhagwan is Shada Aishwarya Purna. He's got the most strength, the most knowledge, the most renunciation, the most beauty, the most fame, etc. Unlimited. And Mother Yashoda was able to unlock herself and put that child, while she was breastfeeding him, in the kitchen on the floor, and says, watch that pot, I will be right back. I'm going to the stove. And when she does that, Krishna could not do anything. Damodar Bhakti Baddham. That's one instance. The second instance of Damodar Bhakti means bound by the love of the mother Yashoda, by the devotee. Nobody can catch him. Nobody can catch Sri Krishna. And Mother Yashoda was able to catch Krishna, when she was behind. In one instance, Surdas, one of the most leading disciples of Sri Vallabhacharya, one of the Ashtachap Sakas in Vraj, who is eternally a resident in Chandra Sarovar in Govardhan. And he is not only a Sakha of Krishna, but he is also a Gopi. So some of these wonderful devotees, Krishna cannot live without them. And they are in many, many different rasas or mellows. Like Srila Prabhupada, also we find tomorrow when we discuss Srila Prabhupada's disappearance, we will see that how Krishna cannot even live without Prabhupada. We will find that, through Srila Prabhupada's own poems. So we will touch on those to highlight that what Srila Prabhupada is. Certain devotees, Krishna wants them in all the different mellows. Mellows mean the rasas, the relationships. As we all know, there is Shantras, there is Dasyaras, there is Sakhyaras, there is Vatsalya Rasa, and there is a Madhurya Rasa. So certain devotees like Balram is in all five rasas, because Krishna just cannot stay without Balram. And many, many devotees are found to be as Sakhas, and they're also found to be Gopis, depending on when Krishna wants them to relish a certain pastime, or depending on when that devotee wants to relish a certain pastime, Krishna gives them entrance into those Leelas. So there are many personalities of the same devotee that are there in Golok Vrindavan that are privy, or they are privileged in more than one rasa. So Surdas is one of those who is also a Gopi and is also a Sakha. So one time Krishna displayed this wonderful pastime. Late at night, Surdas has written over 125,000 kirtans. Actually, I take that back. 100,000 that were composed by him personally, and 25,000 kirtans were composed by Krishna and Surdas, a combination of both. Krishna and Surdas. Because at the end, we always find, like for example, when we sing Bhakti Vinod Thakur song, that is a Bhakti Vinoda kahe shuno kana Radha Nath tu ama raparana. Like so even Narottam Das Thakur, at the end, generally the name of the poet is always there. So when Narottam Das Thakur says Rakho Ranga Narottama Charanera Pasha in Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala, at the end he says that, oh Krishna, please keep this Narottam Das Thakur at your wonderful lotus feet. Rakho Ranga Charanera Pasha. Then in one of the bhajans, Narottam Das Thakur, Narottama Bado Dukhi, Nitai More Karo Sukhi, Rakho Ranga Charanera Pasha. So like this, Surdas, in his old age, at that time when he was composing, it was very difficult. So at that time, Krishna used to come and complete the composition. So the last 25,000 kirtans in Surdas's life were composed by Sura Sham. So at the end, we will find, when you find any kirtan that says Sura Sham Kahe, that means it is Surdas, and Sham means Krishna. They both are saying a particular point that they are making in that kirtan. So Surdas he could not see. He was blind, but he could see all the leelas, although he was blind. So one time in Vrindavan, it was very late. Perhaps it was in Govardhan. It was very late, and everybody had gone to sleep, and he was trying to wake his way home, and a small boy comes and says, Baba, let me lead you home. Let me get your chadi. Let me get your stick at one end, and I will take you. And at that time, Surdas is being led by this little boy. Then Surdas is thinking that at the middle of the night, how can a young boy like this come? And he starts having a conversation. Lala, toka gaon, tumhara gaon kaun sa hai? Which village are you from? So then he says, Baba, I'm just from a nearby village. Don't worry, I will take you home. I know where you live. You reside by Chandra Sarovar. I will take you there. So then he's thinking, aha, this must be Krishna. And of course, he's a pure devotee also. So he tries to catch Krishna, and he tries to slowly move his hand on his own stick, trying to grab the little hands of Krishna. And as soon as he comes close to the little hand of Krishna, Krishna disappears. Of course, by that time, he's already at Chandra Sarovar, at his home, where his bhajan kutir is. But it is not so easy to catch Krishna. That's my point. There are many different delineations of pure bhakti. And to become bhakta vasya, to be controlled by the devotee, is something where the devotee has to do an amazing display, an amazing level of love, far beyond the love of Krishna. Then Krishna is controlled. Damodar Bhakti Badam. So Krishna was caught by the love of Mother Yashoda. That's the second time the meaning of the Damodar Bhakti Badam, what it means. Now, Mother Yashoda has caught him. Mother Yashoda sees that Rudantam Mur Netra Yugmam Mujantam Karam Bhoja Yugmena Satanka Netram. Satang, he's got fear now. So Mother Yashoda immediately throws the stick away. Now she sees that my child is shivering. My child is very scared. And his breathing is fast, is very fast. So now Mother Yashoda realizes that the stick is creating a lot of fear. So she throws away the stick. When she throws it, but then she still has a grip on Krishna's arm. Krishna, she's looking at Krishna. Krishna, what have you done? Tell me, what have you done? Every day I'm hearing different complaints, but today I saw with my own eyes. Who broke that pot in the kitchen? And who broke all the pots that were hanging on the roof, on the rafters? So Krishna, in his totally bhasha, totally means when a little child speaks, cannot pronounce very perfectly. He stammers a little bit. And Krishna says, Maiya, Jako matki banai, tako matki fodi. Meaning, Mother, that who made that earthen pot, he is the one who broke it. So there is a wonderful philosophical point here, a double meaning. And he's saying that, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, we have to remember Yogamaya intermittently for a second or two removes that avaran, or that covering, and she makes Krishna fully realize that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So at that moment, he's saying that one who made the earthen pot broke the pot, meaning everything belongs to Sri Krishna. I am the one, Janmadi Yasya. The Vedanta Sutra says, Janamadi Yasya. Janam means creation. Adi means the sustenance and eventual annihilation. Especially the word annihilation applies to the material worlds, to the samsara, to the different planetary systems. But even the spiritual worlds, everything emanates from Sri Krishna. The Balram, he emanates on his right side from Nandanandan Krishna. He emanates from his and on his right side as his Samvit Shakti, and on the left, Radharani appears from Krishna's body as his Haladini Shakti, and he himself is Sandhini Shakti. So Samvit is Baldev, Sandhini is Krishna himself, and Haladini is Sri Radha. So everything emanates from Sri Krishna. And Krishna doesn't leave even Golok Vrindavan or Vrindavan, even one step he doesn't take outside. Ekam padam na gacchati Vrindavanam. He does not. Then who is responsible for the creation? One may ask. So the source of the creation is through Balram. Lord Balram, he expands himself into all the Vaikuntha planets, where below Golok Vrindavan is Mathura, below Mathura is Dwarka, below Dwarka is many other Vaikuntha planets, including Ayodhya. Below Ayodhya, we find that there is different planets known as the Narayana planets. Many Narayana. There's not one Narayana. And then there is the different avatars of Krishna, like Matsya avatar, Kurma avatar, Narsimha avatar. They have their own planets in Vaikuntha. Like that. And even at the bottom of Vaikuntha, just before the Viraja, there is just before the Brahma Jyoti is the Sadashiv, the Kailash, the eternal Kailash in Vaikuntha, which is the source of Lord Shiva. So this Balram and all the three Vishnus, the Karanadaksai Vishnu, Garbhodaksai Vishnu, and Paramatma, well known as the Shirodaksai Vishnu, they all three are expansions of Sri Balram. Balramji first expands into the first quadruple expansion in Mathura as Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. From that Sankarshan, a second quadruple expansion or the Dvitiya Chaturvyu happens in Mathura, in Dwarka, as Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. So Dwarkadish is Vasudeva Krishna. He's not Nandanandan Krishna. Again, I don't have the time. There are so many wonderful nuances. And that is what is the specialty of our Gaudiya Rasa. Every day when we are in Iskcon, for the last, many of us, 40 years, 30 years, 50 years, we are hearing the same Bhagavad Gita lectures and the same old, but there is so much more. And we should be inspired to learn, read Prabhupada's books thoroughly, read the books of the Goswamis, read those and inspire others. That way we will get a glimpse of how great our movement is. It is not ordinary. And once I finish this Damodar Ashtakam, perhaps each and every devotee will take something home that, wow, we are so fortunate to be in Srila Prabhupada's movement, in the movement of Mahaprabhu. We will really feel that gratitude. We should feel it. And along with that, we should be inspired to advance. Ananda Ambudhi Vardhana, Mahaprabhu says in the Chaitanya Sishtastakam that and Prabhupada, in simple terms, used to say, Krishna consciousness is dynamic. It is not static. If we are static, simply studying the Bhagavad Gita, the same verses, the same lectures, put in different words, day after day, years after years, month after month, decades after decades, then when will we get the opportunity to enter into the Vraj Bhav, as Satyavrat Muni has displayed in this particular Damodar Ashtakam? So this is something that we should all take home, that deep desires to advance. And once that deep desire is that Paramatma is situated in our hearts, and he will make the arrangements. Not everybody is meant for that. Everybody should be, but not everybody has that capacity or that desire. That deep desire, when that has, what does Srimad Bhagavatam says in the second verse? Shushruvi krutuvi tatshanat. The last two lines. Dharma projita kaitavatra parmo narmat saranam satam vedyam vastavamatra shivadam taputra unmulam Srimad Bhagavata Mahamuni krite kim vapare Ishvara sadyo avarudyate atra krutuvi shushruvi tatshanat. Instantly we can control Sri Krishna. We can make him Bhakta Vasya. And it is not our intention, but Krishna will love to be controlled by us. That is the rasa, that is the relationship that he would want with that devotee. Why, how, and what is the qualification, the pre-qualification? Bhagavad Ji has defined that in that second verse. Vyasdev himself, Krutubi and Sushrubi, we should be desirous to advance. And we should be desirous of serving Srimad Bhagavatam. It is the desire. The rest of it, Krishna can manage. Krishna can arrange that association. Krishna can arrange that Gurudev. Krishna can arrange that those teachings and everything. It's a matter of just like, a child when he wants to become a doctor and he's determined right when he is in the kindergarten. Mom, I want to become a doctor. Uncle, auntie, I want to become a pilot. Uncle, auntie, I want to become an engineer. When they ask the little kids and when they're really determined, when the desire is there, the Supreme Lord fulfills the desire, whether they are material or spiritual. Even if somebody is very, very much inclined towards something very material, deeply material, Krishna knows that this is the desire and Krishna will arrange it. But what to talk about those devotees whose desires are advancing and advancing? What we will see here is Satyavrat Muni's greed and advancement as we progress into this Damodar Ashtakam. So coming back to Mother Yashoda, she tells Krishna, Krishna, I've seen this and I'm hearing this complaint, but I saw it with my own eyes. Who broke that pot? Krishna says, one who made the pot, he broke the pot. And Mother Yashoda is perplexed. What is he talking, this little child? Acha, tell me, how did that pot break? Tell me. So then he says, Maiya, you are so innocent. When you are going to that milk, rushing, trying to help the milk, pacify the milk, at that time, you are in a rush. Do you remember? You are in a rush. And when you are in a rush, you brushed that huge pot and your ankle bells hit the pot in the bottom. And that is why all the half-made yogurt and milk, it's squished out of that pot. And Mother Yashoda is just staring at him. Oh, really? Is that what happened? Yes, Maya, that's exactly what happened. Look at the cheater of the cheaters, 2.5-year-old only. Now, Mother Yashoda says, okay, entertaining him into a further conversation. Mother Yashoda says that, okay, then tell me, excuse me, how did all this butter and that yogurt, all I see, it's all dripping all over your mouth. It's all, the impressions are there. And even it's on your chest and on your thighs and on your chubby arms. How did that happen? And especially look at your cheeks. Look at them. Huh? So Krishna looks at Mother Yashoda. Maiya, you are so innocent. Well, you went, a monkey came in from the window and he tried to grab some of that yogurt from the pot and I stopped him. But that monkey was very naughty. You know how naughty the monkeys are right here in Gokul. And Mother says, yeah, I see one here in front of me. So Krishna says, Maiya, fine. If I am a monkey, then I have no place in Nanda Bhavan. I have no place in this palace. I have no place. I should just go to the forest and stay like a monkey. And Mother Yashoda is concerned that really this little child, he may end up doing that. He may give up. He may simply leave the house and go into the forest. And Mother Yashoda was concerned. Oh, no. I didn't mean that. So she pacifies Krishna. But then Krishna continues. Krishna says, that monkey, that naughty monkey came. I tried to stop him, but he's so naughty that he slapped me. And because his hands were in the pot, they were full of that half-churned, half-made yogurt. And that is the reason Why you see all this on my cheeks and then it dripped on my chest and everywhere all over my body. So Mother Yashoda said, Are wa Lala, this is great. Lies after lies after lies. You've been stealing. Uh, I am going to punish you. I love you so much, Kana. You're only 2 years old, 2.5 years old. Imagine when you grow up, what will happen? You already started stealing and creating havoc like dacoits, like a chore, like a thief in other people's houses. And I've seen it with my own eyes. I must correct you. Otherwise, when you grow up, it can become worse. That is the love. Just like, when we were little, when our parents slapped us or punished us, we never understood that. We felt very bad. And we felt that, oh, this is the worst mother or the worst father. But whatever our parents at that time they did, it's for our own well-being. They did that. And we should be thankful for being corrected. Whatever our guru does, I'm talking about Sadguru. I'm not talking about some halta chalta guru that nowadays we find dime by a dozen. That those who have money, the guru always goes to their houses. They see what kind of cars they have, and then they decide we will have a program here. Not that kind of gurus. We are talking about pure Sadgurus, that Vishwanath Chakravarti path, the kind of quality that has been described in the Mangalarti, Vande Guru Sri Charnaravindam. Those personalities. So those personalities are always, even when Prabhupada said rascal, he would say angrily, but it was out of pure compassion. One time, Srila Prabhupada always, you all know, he always loved to go for morning walks. So in Bombay, Juhu, at that time, there was one Dr. Bhogilal, Dr. Patel, that he used to always have conversations with. And Prabhupada used to have morning walks on the Juhu beach, and many of his disciples followed. And there was a learning curve for everybody because this Dr. Patel was well versed, apparently, in the scriptures. Sometimes he would discuss from the Bible, he would discuss from the Quran, and of course the Bhagavad Gita and the Vedic scriptures. So one time Dr. Patel told Prabhupada on Juhu Beach that, Swamiji, you call these scientists rascals, and this rascal and that rascal. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that Pandita Samadarshina, he's quoting that particular verse in the Bhagavad Gita, that a Pandit, a person who has true knowledge, will look upon everybody equally. Hasti, Gavi, one who is an elephant, he sees the Paramatma in the Brahman's heart and the cow's heart. He sees everybody equally. Pandit Samadarshina. So why you're calling them rascals? So Prabhupada, then, he understood later on that it is out of pure compassion. Prabhupada used to harp, just try to understand. And he was sometimes very angry because people were not understanding. They were not taking seriously this Krishna consciousness. So this, even if our parents sometimes call us donkey, idiot, they use such words. It is out of pure love. It is out of pure compassion. They do that. So that should not be misunderstood. Similarly, Mother Yashoda wanted to correct Sri Krishna out of pure love, because Krishna is her darling son, and nothing beyond that. Not the Supreme Personality of Godhead or whatever magical feats he does. That may be so, but you are still my son, and I'm going to punish you. So when she says that you are a thief, and thieves need to be punished. So then Krishna says, Maiya, actually, can I say something? So yeah, what else you want to say? Another lie? No, Maiya, I'm going to speak the truth. I've heard, that in your dynasty that you came from, there was a thief. His name was Chor Ghosh. Actually, Mother Yashoda's last name is coming, all those family members, their last name was Ghosh, and most of them. So Chor Ghosh, that there was one thief in your family, I know that. But in Nanda Babaji's dynasty, I don't know of any thief. And that was it. This was the last straw for Mother Yashoda. The last button, the wrong button that Krishna pressed. Always we have to remember, sometimes, this is humorous, but it's a fact. if you get into a fight with your spouse, with your wife, especially, say what you want to do. Tell her anything you want, but do not say anything about her father, mother, or her brothers or her family. The moment you say something about them, you are calling for pralay, mahapralay, third World War III. So you have to be very careful. So that is it. Krishna pressed that wrong button. Yogamaya made him press that wrong button by making the 2.5-year-old child somehow or the other come to that understanding or knowledge that Krishna, that Mother Yashoda's family, one of the family members was a very, very famous thief known as Chor Ghosh. So Mother Yashoda says, you are the liar. In my family, there was no thief. You are the thief. And do you want to become that famous robber Kafalak? In Vraj, it is said that there was a famous robber. So this is all Jiva Goswami's Varnan, or Jiva Goswami describing this wonderful Damodar Lila. So there was a very famous thief known as Kafalak in Vraj. So do you want to become like him? Now come on, I'm going to punish you. And Mother Yashoda simply drags Krishna back into that storeroom where the grinding mortar is, and where the pots that were broken hanging on the rafters on the roof. Krishna is dragged inside. Now, and she takes from her braid a ribbon, and she loosens that ribbon, and she wants to tie, her intention is to tie Krishna to that grinding mortar. So one may ask, why? Why so? The Nanda Bhavan is huge. Actually, even if you go to Gokul today, and even if you go to Kamyavan, there is 84 khamba. 84 means 84, and khamba means pillar. Sometimes we find that in a house here in our subdivision, some of the nice houses in Canada, United States, etc., those houses are 2,000 square feet, 3,000 square feet, 5,000 square feet homes. And in the basement, we find maybe 2 pillars or supporting beams, or 5 pillars, no more than that, right? Even if the home is 5,000 square feet, I don't think there is more than 5 or 7 pillars, right? So we find that, can you imagine, Nanda Maharaj's palace had 84 pillars that supported the palace, 84 khamba. And even today we can take darshan in Gokul. There the Brajvasis, the Chobes, they are worshipping, and when devotees come on a pilgrimage, they can see the remnants of the 84 khamba, the 84 pillars. And even in Kamyavan, which is a little bit far from Gokul, quite a bit, takes about 2 hours to get there, which is actually in Rajasthan. Kamyavan is one of the most prominent places in Rajmandal for parikrama. And most of the deities, actually, when they were moved from Vrindavan, they first stopped in Kamyavan, including Vrinda Devi. So Vrinda Devi actually did not leave Rajmandal, but some of the big deities, because of the Mughals, because of the atrocities of the Mughal kings like Aurangzeb, etc., the beautiful big deities of Madan Mohan, of Gopinath Ji, of Damodar Ji, of Srinath Ji or Gopal Ji, they were all shifted to Rajasthan, because the Vaishnavas in Rajasthan, the kings, were of amazing chivalry. That was the only state that was not, the Mughals were not able to conquer in India. Otherwise, they had conquered every state in India. They had their presence. But because of the chivalrous Kshatriya spirit of the kings of Rajasthan and the persons of, and they were Vaishnavas, so they actually first stopped in Kamyavan, all these deities, the 4 of them, and then later on they were moved to Jaipur, to Karoli, and to Nathdwara respectively. So in Jaipur we find Govind Dev Ji, we find Gopinath Ji, and we find Damodar Ji. The deities that were in Vrindavan, that in Seva Kunj, Jiva Goswami's deities are Radha Damodar. So no wonder, that is why he's been able to describe this wonderful pastimes in the Damodar Lila, in the Gopal Champu. Rupa Goswami's deities are Govind Devji. So they are also in Jaipur. And we find that Gopinath Ji is also in Jaipur, Madhu Pandit's deities. And of course, our Madhavendra Puripat, the Param Gurudev of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's deities that had actually manifest to him very close to Govind Kund in Govardhan is Srinath Ji or Gopal Ji, the one who has lifted Govardhan, the famous. And now, of course, at that time, under the permission of Rup Goswami, the Pushti Margis, the followers of Vallabhacharya, they were given the seva. And since then, the seva is going on so meticulously in Pushti Marg that Gopalji or Srinathji is very happy with their service. And he is in Rajasthan, in Nathdwara, 30 kilometers from Udaipur, just as a side note. So coming back to our Leela, Mother Yashoda says that I don't want you to become a kafalak and I'm going to punish you, and drags him into the room and tries to tie him. And then so the question is, why would Mother Yashoda, the palace is huge and she could have well tied him even outside in the courtyard where there were many trees in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, and many pillars and many rooms in Nanda Mahal, in the palace of Nanda Maharaj. But here there is a wonderful point that Mother Yashoda makes. She actually tells, when she is tying Krishna to the upturned grinding motor, she says, Krishna, you are Khal. Khal means cheater. And she's looking at the Ukhal. And you are Ukhal. You are also a cheater, partner in crime. You helped him climb up and make all this mess, especially on this Diwali day when I'm supposed to do a lot of other services for this festival. And look at all the mess now I have to clean up. So you are Khal, Krishna, and you are Ukhal. Just like, we find even in modern times, we find that if there's a thief at the door and we take compassion and we try to hide the thief in our house, but if the police comes and finds the thief in our house, then what's going to happen? All of us are going to go to jail. The judge is going to pronounce that, yes, you are a partner in crime. You are helping somebody, although you did not actually steal or you did not do that, but you helped that person steal. So that's why you will also be sentenced to jail. So that's why we find that Mother Yashoda decides to punish both of them, Krishna and the grinding motor. See, this is the rasa. That's what I was talking about, that, when otherwise every year we are singing the Damodar Stakam, reading the translation, and that's it, we are done. But this is the rasa. When the devotees who have actually witnessed these pastimes, Damodarji manifested to Jiva Goswami. So obviously Jiva Goswami is none other than Vilas Manjari, a very, very dear servitor of Radharani, a dear servitor of Rupa Manjari. How can she not know? Of course, in the form of Jiva Goswami is a male, but in the eternal pastimes, she is a gopi. So she knows all these wonderful pastimes, and she has wonderfully described them here. So anyways, so Mother Yashoda actually, so Jiva Goswami explains that Mother Yashoda has a ribbon in her. Most people start with the cow ropes. No, it's not true. Based on Jiva Goswami's Damodar Lila, the ladies have a ribbon. We remember, in our childhood, we have seen that some of the girls who went to school and the vendors used to come and sell the ribbons and the different paraphernalia. Those ribbons were long, perhaps 3 feet, 4 feet long. That's how long those ribbons were, 5 feet. And they were hanging them and on the street. And then the mothers used to call them and they would select the red ribbons and the black ribbons depending on the school's uniform. Then they would, sit outside into the veranda and they would twirl those ribbons into a braid. And then the braid would be only this much, but the ribbons would be twirled. A 4 feet ribbon would be twirled into the small, maybe 1 feet long braid of the girls. So Mother Yashoda loosens her hair, takes out the ribbon, and she tries to tie Krishna around the belly. And like that, when she finishes her round, she's 2 fingers short. So now she's not able to tie Krishna. Now what happens? That morning, and like every morning in Gokul and in Nandagram, later on in Nandagram, what happens? When Mother Yashoda wakes up and it's daytime, the gopis of Vrindavan, the other gopis, the friends of Mother Yashoda, they all used to come and see Mother Yashoda. They cannot live without Mother Yashoda. They are so happy to see her. Every morning they must come. And so they came and they heard all this crying and all this frustration coming out of that particular room next to the kitchen. So they all started proceeding towards that kitchen. And when they saw Krishna there was an attempt being made by Mother Yashoda to tie Krishna to the upturned grinding mortar, and they saw all the rafters, the half-broken pots, and all the mess on the floor. They started giggling and laughing. And they started telling Yashoda, Yashoda, every day we were telling you, but you would not believe it. Now he has done the same thing in your own house. And Yashoda says, yes, I know. Why don't you, help me and get me some ropes? There's some ropes in the kitchen. So those ropes were perhaps the ropes that were used for the churning rod. So they run in and they go get it. I need to punish him. I'm just, I'm done today. I have a lot of seva to do, and I cannot just simply, have him just run around like this and create more havoc. So the gopis, some of them immediately go into the kitchen, find the ropes. They bring the rope and they give it to Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda ties a knot. And when she ties a knot, goes around it, and again 2 fingers short. Like that, she tells the gopis, what are you looking? Go to the Goshala. She had a Goshala in the house. And she goes to the Goshala, and then she tried to bring all the ropes, and all the ropes have exhausted. Mother Yashoda is exhausted as well. She puts her hand on her temple and says, Krishna, oh Krishna, 2 fingers short. Will I be able to tie you today? Will I be able to stop you from being mischievous today? Just look at all this, just see. And Mother Yashoda almost comes to the point of crying. So at that time, what happens? Krishna immediately, Damodar Bhakti Baddham, he allows himself to be bound by Mother Yashoda. So what is the philosophy behind the 2 fingers short? Why was the 4 fingers short all this time? So there is a couple important points that we have to understand. Especially in the Sri Sampradaya, the Vaishnava Sampradaya, there are the Iyengars, and the other one is the it's not coming to my mind. Anyways, there are 2 types of devotees in the Sri Sampradaya. And one of them, their philosophy is that what is known as Manjar Nyay. Manjar means a cat, the logic of the cat. In the Manjar Nyay, what happens that the baby kitten, the little baby cat, she has to do nothing, or the baby cat has to do nothing. The mother carries the baby kitten into the mouth, and moves her from one point to another point, feeds her the milk. And no, it's not the Alwars. Alwars are the kings of South India. Thank you, Nandan Prabhu, for the try. So there's the Iyengars and the Ayers and the Iyengars. The Ayers and the Iyengars. So these 2 Sri Sampradaya devotees, they believe that the Manjar Nyay, one of them believes that the Manjar Nyay, so we don't have to do anything. Simply by the mercy of Krishna, everything will happen. Just like the mercy of the mother cat, everything will happen for the baby cat. We don't have to make any attempts. So that's the mercy. That's what they believe. But then there is another sect of Vaishnavism that they believe that is known as Markat Nyay, a logic of the monkey. What is that? In the Markat Nyay, the baby monkey has to make its own attempt. Like we see that when we go to Vrindavan, when the mother the little baby is on either on the back or on the belly, but has to strongly hold the mother's belly or the back. And the mother is jumping several feet, 20 feet, sometimes 25 feet, from one branch to another branch, from one building rooftop to another rooftop, and the baby doesn't fall. So the baby has to make its own attempt. So that personal attempt is required. So the Vaishnavas, so the Gaudiya Vaishnavas say, yes, that it is just not the one way. The kripa is there of the Lord, just like Prabhupada says, that the mercy of the Guru or a Sadguru is just like sunshine. It shines equally over everyone. The mountains, the rivers, the roads, the valleys, everywhere. But what can the Guru do or the Acharya do if some refuse to come out into the sunlight? So there the Manjanai, according to the Gaudiya Vaishnavism, is not sufficient enough. And secondly, one's own attempt. So Mother Yashoda's determination and the attempt was there. But that is not sufficient to control Krishna completely, to make him Bhakta Vashya. Very important point. So therefore, there are two components to it. One is definitely the devotee's endeavor. Just by saying that, Asla Devadar Del Khatlavari. In Marathi, there is a saying that, if there is a Lord, then no matter what I do, I sit on the sofa or on the bed, and everything will happen automatically. Asla Devadar Del Khatlavari. No. So it doesn't work like that. We have to do something. We have to show we have to use our minute independence in such a way that we have to show the enthusiasm and determination. And then just that is not sufficient. The kripa of Krishna, the mercy of Krishna is required. That's what represented these two fingers of being shot. So when Mother Yashoda's determination was there, she did not stop. She was so determined in her love for Krishna, for correcting him, for punishing him out of pure love, that no matter what, I'm going to do that. She got exhausted. But finally, in her mind, she was thinking, Krishna has so much work to do. When will I finish all this? I wish you would get bound. And that moment, those two fingers that were short, immediately Mother Yashoda was able to tie that knot. Mother Yashoda was able to tie that knot. And that is because her surrender. So that surrender enthuses Krishna for showering special mercy. This is very, very important, especially for us sadhaks or the practicing devotees. एकाकी आमार नहीं पाए बल हरिनाम संकीर्तने तुम्ही कृपा करी श्रद्धा बिंदु दिया देहो कृष्ण नाम धने कृष्ण से तुम्हार कृष्ण दीते पार तुम्हार शक्ति आचे आमी तो कांगाल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोली धाई तवा पाचे पाचे ओहे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर ei dashe karuna kori. Have mercy on me, O Vaishnava Thakur, because Krishna's mercy flows through the Vaishnavas. Now have mercy on me. Ekaki amar nahi paye bal. I do not have any strength on my own. Harinam Sankirtane. And even chanting the holy names. Tumi kripa kari shraddha bindu diya. Please have mercy on me and give me an iota of faith, of Krishna prem. Shraddha bindu diya. Deho Krishna naam dhane. And give me the treasure of the holy name. And the treasure of the holy name is what? Pure bhakti. Pure bhakti is what? Bhakta Vashya, where Krishna wants to be controlled by his devotee in Vraj Bhakti. That is the pinnacle or the zenith of bhakti. That is Krishna Nama Dhana. Krishna Nam and Krishna, they are non-different. Krishna's associates and Krishna are all one in their thinking, feeling, and willing. Although not one in one body, but like we say, I and my Father are one. Jesus said that. But most of the Christians, they misinterpret Lord Jesus. They all say that, that I and my Father are one means I am God. No. Oneness means oneness in thinking, feeling, willing. Whatever Prabhupada did was the pleasure of Krishna and Radharani. Everything that Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. This is the pranam mantra of Rupa Goswami. It's there in the Bhagavad Gita. Most of you all are chanting that. But what does that really mean? Sri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam. Mana or the mind is in the deep core of the heart, not here. Most people think mana is here. Intelligence is here. But mana is in the heart. Sri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam. The deep desire in the core heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sthapitam Jena Bhutale. He established, Rupa Goswami established those principles of esoteric bhakti, of Krishna prem, especially in the Madhurya Rasa that is there he established them in this material world. Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. When will this Rupa Goswami give me place at his lotus feet? This is the thing. So this is the main point that we are trying to bring here, that surrender, the more we are surrendered, that is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur has compiled the book Sharanagati. Sharanagati is the process. Sharanga Sharanagata hoibe jar tar prarthna sune Brajendra Kumar. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in the introductory song of Sharanagati that one is fully surrendered with all the 6 branches of surrender, that Krishna must listen to you. One will be able to control Sri Krishna. Krishna will want to get controlled by that devotee. That is the meaning of the word. One Dainya Atma Nivedana Goprite Varana Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palana. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palana. Bhakti Anukula Karya Kare Jo Svikar Bhakti Pratikula Bhav Varjan Angikar. One should have humility. Branch number 1, Dainya Atma Nivedan. Whatever is belonging to us, we think everything belongs to Krishna. Manasa Deha Geha Jo Kichumor Arpil Tuaka Padir Nanda Kishore. Tera Tuchko Arpan. How do you offer the Aarti of Ganga or Jamuna ji? By offering their own waters. So similarly, whatever we have, Manasa Deha Geha, my mind, my heart, my soul, Deha, this body, this my assets, my house, Arpilu Tuapade Nanda Kishore. I offer them to you. That is the real devotee. So like this, there are 6 branches of Sharanagati. So when one fully surrenders, then at that time, Krishna is showering special mercy, and that mercy was showered on Mother Yashoda. That's why she was able to tie Sri Krishna. That is why. So just by our personal endeavor, because otherwise there are so many personal endeavors that are made by Mayavadis, that are made by Brahmavadis, that are made by scholarly persons, by Gyanis. They know the Bhagavad Gita, they know the Vedic Shastras by heart, and they can give so many different explanations. Vedesha Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakta Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. That is the verses. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hrideshu Vilokayanti Yam Sham Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. It is with the ointment of love. Vedesha Durlabham, even by knowing the Vedas, we cannot catch Krishna. Not possible. Especially the Krishna of Vrindavan. Impossible. So like this, Mother Yashoda ties him and now tells the gopis, come, let's go to the kitchen. Let's go to the kitchen and we have a lot of work to do. I need your help. Look at the mess. And all gopis are laughing. Told you so, told you so. He does that in our house. Yeah. Please help me. So much work to do. So Mother Yashoda and the gopis get busy. Now Krishna is tied to that grinding motor. And when he's tied, he's crying. He's trying to, get free, but he just cannot get free, no matter how hard he tries. And in the meantime, what happens? After the gopis have gone to the kitchen, every morning, the little coward boys, they cannot stay without Krishna. So they also come to see Krishna every morning. Every morning they are there. Narsi Mehta, one of the great Vaishnavas in Gujarat, actually he was also graced by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. And he has written some wonderful poems in Gujarati that depict the pure love of Vrindavan in his poems. And in one of the poems he says, it is known as Prabhatya. Prabhatya is like a Mangal Arti. It is to be sung early in the morning. So he says, Narsi Mehta, He Jagne Jadva Krishna Govadiya Tuja Vina Dhen Ma Kaun Jashe Trana Sene Saath Govad Tode Re Mariya Vado Re Govadiyo Kaun Thashe He Jagne Jadva. Early in the morning, Mother Yashoda sings. Narsi Mehta depicts this particular scene, that Mother Yashoda is trying to wake up Krishna. Mother Yashoda is telling Krishna, hey Jagne Jadava, oh, the one who was born in the dynasty of the Yadukul, the moon dynasty. They are known as the Yadukulis, the Yadus. Hey Jagne, wake up, wake up. Hey Jagne Jadava, Krishna Govadia. Oh, my dear cowherd boy, please wake up. Hey Jagne Jadava. Trana Sene Saath Govard Tode Re Madia. Vado Re Govadio Kon Thashe Re. 360 coward boys have gathered in my front yard. And who will become the leader of all these coward boys? They are all waiting for you. Hey Jagne Jadava. In another wonderful pada that is written by one of the Ashtachasakas, I think it is by Paramanand Das. Yah bhayo pachlo paha, yah bhayo pachlo paha, kaan kaan kahi teran lagi, Baba Nanda Mahar. This is in Braj Bhasha. Yah bhayo pachlo pahar, Gopastri Dadhi Manthan lagi, Gopapure Venu, Utho Bal Shyama, Bacharua Velo, Ram Bhan lagi Denu. Here, the Vaishnava poet is saying that Nanda Maharaj is calling out to Krishna, Krishna, wake up, wake up. And early in the morning, Yah Bhayo Pachlo Pahar, the last 3 hours have already passed. We are already early in the morning. It's the Mangal Murat. There are 8 pahars. The 24 hours in Vedic calendar, they are divided into 8 pahars or 8 delineations, and each pahar is 3 hours. So sometimes if you are those who are speaking Hindi, we say do pahar. Do pahar, that means this is the second pahar in the afternoon. So like this. So the last pahar is the one that is just before the Mangal Arati or the Brahma Murat. So he is saying, Yah bhayo pasho, that Pachlo pahar, the last pahar has already passed. Nanda Maharaj is saying, please wake up. Gopastri Dadi Manthanalagi, all the different coward ladies, they are already churning the yogurt. Gopa Pure Venu, and all these different coward boys are already gathered and they're playing the flute, waiting for you to come down so that you can take the cows for herding. Yah bhayo pachlo pahar. The cows, the little calves are mooing, and the cows are also mooing. It's time to wake up. Oh Krishna, please wake up. Utho Balasham, please, oh Krishna, oh wonderful, the one with a lot of strength, the dark one with a lot of strength. Sham means dark, and Bala means one who has got a lot of strength. Please wake up. So this is just like when we tell little boys, hey captain, how are you? Hey, we tell them, although he may be very skinny, we say, hey Dara Singh, hey, how are you? Come on, let's do some work. So same way, Utho Balasham, although he's very little, Nanda Maharaj calls him Balasham, Jago. So like this, the coward boys, they cannot live without Krishna. They're there and they hear the sound of crying and they are attracted to the crying, and they immediately run towards that room where Mother Yashoda had tied up Krishna to the upturned grinding mortar. Now what happens? Krishna cries and he does, what are you all looking at? Free me, free me. And then Madhu Mangal goes, one of Krishna's friends, and he tries to untie Krishna. He tries hard and hard. And then he says, Madhu Mangal, what do? You can't do it. Move away. Subal, you come here. So he calls out his other friend, Subal. Subal tries to open that knot, and that knot doesn't open. Like that, all the coward boys are trying to open that knot, and that knot just does not open. Now, in the meantime, what happens? Mother Rohini has just returned from Upanandji's house, the elder brother of Nanda Maharaj, after helping with many festivities in his palace. And when she comes, she has a little baby Balram. Balram is also 2.5 years old. The child cannot stay without the mother. So the baby Balram had also gone with Mother Rohini for a few days for helping out with the Diwali festivities. And when she comes back that morning, she immediately goes to the kitchen and she hears some sounds coming from that storeroom, but she's thinking that it's just the boys playing. All the coward boys, as usual, in the morning, they have gathered and they are having a good time with Krishna. And then, but Balram, Dauji, he hears crying and he immediately runs towards that storeroom. And when he enters that, he sees the whole crowd of the coward boys. And when he sees the crowd, he makes his way inside into the middle, and he sees Krishna crying, and he has been tied to the upturned grinding motor. And Krishna is very upset. He's crying, and he says, "Thou, where were you? Thou, where were you? Thou? All these coward boys are useless. They are useless. Look, I've been tied, and nobody can." So first of all, Thou looked around everybody, and with great anger, and again Mahamaya removes that spell on the Supreme Personality of Godhead Balram, and he looks at everybody with bloodshot eyes. "Who dare tie my brother?" In a deep voice he speaks, as if it is Sankarshan showing his wrath. And immediately then again Yogmaya comes back, and Madhumangal in his ears says, "Dau Dada, it is Maya. She tied Kana." So, oh, Maya. So then Dau Dada, he tries and tries and tries, but he cannot open that knot. So there is something that is amazing that we need to understand in this particular Leela. Why is it, the question can arise, that Balaram, who is the source of the entire spiritual worlds and the material worlds and the strength where millions and millions of Brahmans are on his head as Sankarshan, he's bearing the different universal systems. Balaram, as the name Bal means strength, spiritual strength and also physical strength. He's not able to untie a simple knot. What happened? So our Acharyas explained very nice. He says this knot was tied by Mother Yashoda, and that was in the Vatsalya Ras, in the parental love. Balram present there as a brother in the Sakhya Ras. The Vatsalya Ras is considered more superior in love than the love that is expressed by the Sakhas of Krishna. Therefore, he was not able to untie that knot. But had Balram, as a side note, come as Ananga Manjari, who is the younger sister of Radharani. By the way, those who don't know, Balram is in the Madhurya Ras also, in the conjugal love of Krishna, just like Radharani and other gopis. He is also one of the gopis known as Ananga Manjari, younger sister of Radharani. And had he come in that bhav as Ananga Manjari, then he would have been easily be able to open that knot, because the Madhurya Rasa's prema is considered more special than even the Vatsalya Rasa prema. So here, as a brother, as a Sakha of Krishna, as a friend of Krishna, he was not able to untie the knot. So like this Krishna is still tied in the at the grinding motor, in the store, in the storeroom. And like this, the next verse continues with the Damodar Ashtakam. Idriksha Lila Virananda Kunde Swagosha Nimanjantam Akhyapayantam Tadi Eshit Agneshur Bhaktari Jitatvam Puna Premastam Shattavriti Vande. So this we will discuss next Saturday. It is almost 10:30 now in the Eastern Zone, and we will there's a lot more, but we will see what we can complete. Idrik Lila, where in this particular way, if we want, we can do another 10-15 minutes. What do you say, Acharanidhi Prabhu? And if devotees want, we can cover some of this part of this verse, or we can do it next time. Whatever everybody wants, I'm okay with it.
I'm okay also, Prabhuji, but let's do it maybe on Saturday. We keep it for the last session next Saturday.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
And
So
we have class tomorrow also to listen from you. So,
yes, about Srila Prabhupada. Yes, after Gopi Geet, we will be the glories of Srila Prabhupada. So please, it's very important. All devotees, it is today. What is our relationship? Our relationship is because of Prabhupada. We are a family, a spiritual family, and Srila Prabhupada is our grandsire. So this is a very, very special day. Please, everybody, I request you that make the best of it. And by hearing the glories of Prabhupada, who do you think is going to be pleased? It will be Radha Krishna. When Radha Krishna hears the glories of their pure devotees, they shower the utmost blessings. They will shower their blessings to an unlimited extent. So we have to show our love, our sneha towards the devotees, towards the associates of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada is a very intimate associate of Krishna. Indeed. So tomorrow we will meet again. And again, tomorrow, please make a note. Gopi Geet will start, those who are in Calgary, at 5:30 p.m. Those who are from Chicago, it will start at 6:30 p.m. Please make a note. And those who are from the East Coast, Eastern time, 7:30. So please take part in Srila Prabhupada's glorification. And it actually being month of Kartik, this is going to multiply thousands of times, whether we want it or not. Glorification of Srila Prabhupada. It's one of the topmost spiritual activities that one can do. Tava kathamritam, tapta jivanam, kavi viriditam, kalmashapam, shravana mangalam, srimadatam, bhuvi grinanti je ghuridajana. Even the gopis have sang the glories of such personalities as Srila Prabhupada in the Gopi Geet. So we will touch on that verse tomorrow after singing Gopi Geet and connecting the life of His divine grace in whatever time we have. So thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Damodar Ashtakam ki jai, Satyavrat Muni ki jai, Urjeshwari Radha Rani ki jai, Urja Damodar Manth ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.